I'm Carla Kosak. I'm 37 years old, and I'm suing Justin Michaels. I hired him to entertain at a party that I was hosting. He ruined the entire night. I paid him to dance, not romance.
I'm Justin Michaels. I'm from Australia. I'm 31, and I'm a male entertainer. Carla, she's one of my good friends. She paid me to come in all the way from Australia. I did perform my job, and I'm pretty sure I performed my job very well.
He came downstairs in this tiny little waiter costume, and the girls just lost it. It was a great night until I find Justin with his pants down and one of my party guests. I was furious. I told him to get out.
I did hook up with one of the guests at the party, which wasn't in the paid descriptive of my entertainment.
I want every dime back that I paid him for this party.
I most definitely hope America sides with me. We'll just have to see at the end of this case what they decide.
I have faith in America that they'll do the right thing and side with me.
Hopefully next time I'll learn to lock a door.
So I want to tell you both, Ms. Kosak and Mr. Michaels, in today's case this is a matter that I will not decide, but instead America will be your jury. And so this case is a vote the verdict case. It's really important that you outline your cases, each side, and give America as much information as they could possibly use and need to make an intelligent decision about your case. And so I want to start here, since you brought the case, Ms. Kosak. Why don't you tell me why we're here? And I understand Mr. Michaels is a friend or was a friend of yours. So tell me why you're suing your friend.
Yes. Okay. So we were friends. That is correct, Your Honor. I am suing Justin, who's an exotic dancer. I hired him to entertain for a special occasion that my friends and I were celebrating with a girls' night out that I was hosting at my house. I flew him in from Australia. We know that's not cheap. Yeah.
Isaiah, you got friends like that? Okay. I'm just wondering. Was he a dancer when you met him, or did he turn into one after you became his friend?
He was already.
Okay,
yes.
so
yes.
he was already a dancer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
Continue, ma'am.
So the reason why I chose him in particular for this party is because not only was I friends with him, but a few of the girls that were also at the party were friends with him, so I thought that would just add to the surprise, because we haven't seen him for a while.
Well, it's no surprise that an exotic dancer's got a lot of friends.
Yes. So I flew him in from Australia. As we know, it's not cheap.
No, it's not cheap to put gas in your car, but yes.
This is true. Might be cheaper to fly from Australia now. I paid for catering, and I paid him to entertain for a minimum of 2 hours.
And that, when you say entertain, you mean in his capacity as a dancer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so bring the skills. All right, turn up time. Okay.
Yes. So everything was going according to plan. We were all having a great time. Everyone was excited to see him. And then about 45 minutes to an hour into this party, which, as I said, he was supposed to entertain for about 2 hours.
Okay.
I noticed I hadn't seen him. Some of the girls were asking if he left, if he was done already. I noticed my cat peed on my expensive shag rug that I have, which is not typical of him at all. So
did the cat come to the party too?
The cat was at the party. Yeah, he was. I have 3 cats. So,
okay.
Yes, but anyway, so they have their particular room, and so when I went to look for Justin, the door to their room with the litter box and their food, it was closed. So I figured that was an accident. I opened the door. I find Justin in there with his pants down with one of the guests.
Well, do tell. Okay.
Yeah. So he was entertaining, but he was supposed to, he was entertaining one person, not the whole party. Yes.
So there was a private party in a private room in your house?
Yes.
I'm just trying to make sure I understand. Okay.
Yes. That was not agreed upon, not discussed, not part of the contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
And not within the scope of the agreement is what you're saying?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, was there a formal agreement, like a contract that was signed?
Verbal.
Okay.
Verbal, because we were friends. Yes. Exactly.
Okay. Well, when you mix friends with business, sometimes you get an interesting outcome. Mr. Michaels, why don't you tell me your side?
Good day, Your Honor. My name is Justin Michaels. Obviously, as you all know, I'm all the way from Australia, Sydney, Australia. So she basically flew me in all the way from Australia. Of course, not a cheap flight. I'll give her that. So, of
Well, let's skip to the party, because that's where the real business is.
You want to
What
skip to the
happened?
juicy part of the party? All right. So, of course, I come down to do my job, entertain the party, of course. And everyone was cheerful. I knew a lot of the girls that were there, obviously Carla as well, too, as I'm entertaining the party.
Of course, everyone's cheerful. You are an exotic dancer. Did you know that?
So typically the girls get pretty cheerful, especially whenever, like, obviously I take off, like, shirts like this.
Hold on there, champ. Whoa.
It's just part of the line of wear, you know, like.
Take your time.
Yeah. So, with my line of work,
Yes, put your shirt on.
I'm putting it on for television now, all right? So, with my line of work, obviously, I left them all pretty much happy with my kind of entertainment. Obviously, I do a lot of like pyrotechnic work with fire, acrobatics, Magic Mike style of dancing as well, too. Unfortunately,
Is that what you signed up for? Pyrotechnics and Magic Mike and all them other characters?
All verbal, all verbal.
Yes, but as I said, for everyone, not just one person.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he brought the fire for one,
Yeah.
but not everybody.
All right. So, as soon as I got done with my performance, I asked Carla pretty nicely if I could go upstairs, take a shower. Obviously, performing, you get a little bit of a little mustiness to you.
Was this to prepare for the second half of the show?
So the second half of the show would be the mingle part of it. So yes, I obviously didn't want to be a sweaty looking mess in front of these girls. So I went up to go take a shower. And of course, followed by a little bit of a knock on the door was old mate, her friend, also my friend as well too. She was asking me.
Did you say old maid?
Old mate.
Oh, an old mate. I apologize. It's the accent. Work with me.
Australian.
Okay.
Way. So old mate came to the door, basically knocking on. I was thinking it was Carla or whatnot, and of course it wasn't. I asked her, obviously, if she can grab me a towel, hoping that it was Carla, she can grab me a towel. So old mate grabbed me a towel. She basically then asked me further questions, asking basically TMI kind of questions. What
Okay, well, hold on a
do
second.
for these?
Okay. Let me get a good understanding of what's happened here.
I know.
All right. What
No, I'm not confused.
what was this party about? I mean, yeah, you're signing up to do some services, some mingling, but it looks like he was mingling with just one person.
Well, listen, the cat's room turned out to be the VIP room, okay? He was paid to perform and entertain. He got carried away. But what was really interesting is that when he took off his shirt, he wanted to show the judge by demonstrative evidence and influence the court. That was some showing, I tell you right there. But I'm telling you, this had to be some kind of party because this is some kind of presentation.
And, you know, speaking of the cat, you know, I guess he did a heck of a performance. The cat peed on himself. Isn't that what she said?
That's what she said.
But really, she's blaming this on him being with her friend. That sounds like what she's hanging her hat on as being most upset, because I don't hear her saying, oh, my friends were complaining. So it was no material, substantial breach. There would have been several people complaining. Her only complaint, you slept with my friend and made my cat pee on itself. Well, if you go to the mechanic and you take your girlfriend, the girlfriend sleeps with the mechanic, you're not going to pay for the brakes? You're not going to pay for the brakes?
That's a great point.
That is
That's
a great point. Let's get back to Chicago with Judge Byers as testimony continues in our friend strip case
So, Ms. Kosak,
about a whole
I want to make
hunk
sure I
of
understand
trouble.
this. You said you paid $200 for Mr. Michael's flight or his services.
Yes, Your Honor.
So does that mean that the remaining $2,386 was for the flight from Australia?
The flight and the catering for the party,
How much was the catering?
$800.
$800. My goodness, how much were you all eating? Really? Okay, so catering's $800. So you spent
And-
between that and his services is $1,000. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But this is your friend, and what you're indicating is that he performed the contract or he danced, right?
Only for half the time.
Okay.
And then also, I just want to add that I just feel like it's a complete violation of my home. He was in my home where I raised my teenage son.
Okay.
I barely do what he did in my own home. I mean, if my son were to find a condom, how am I going to explain that? I don't want my son to think that's me.
Well, we would hope you're not using them, but
right.
whomever else might use them. I mean, okay. Mr. Michaels, now, Ms. Kosak is indicating you did not perform the whole contract. You were supposed to dance for 2 hours, and halfway through the 2 hours, you got sidetracked.
I started thinking with my other head, I guess. Yes. Yeah.
So you admit that you were thinking with the other head.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. And did you ever make it back to finish the work that you were supposed to do for everybody?
Because unfortunately of that instance, Carla overreacted and kicked me out of the party when she could have easily just, let me finish my job.
Which job?
I guess the mingle part, but not for that specific person, yes.
Okay, so you would have rathered her giving you the opportunity to come back.
Redeem myself a bit, I guess, yeah. But at the same time, too, it takes two to tango. So obviously, if she's coming, the friend of hers, obviously coming up, asking the question of what more that I do for my line of work, and her asking personal question of if I ever hook up with the girls at the party, I feel like I was a little bit more brought upon that question rather than me just going with it.
Okay, so you didn't feel like you really did anything wrong. You did what you were supposed to do, and you would have completed the rest of the work.
I would have completed my job happily with a smile.
Well, I think you were probably smiling when you left, but she wasn't smiling. And that's obvious, that she wasn't smiling at the fact that at least the rest of the guests were, left out of the mingle opportunity. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so what do you say to that?
Speaking of the mingle opportunity, I think Carla's just upset because she wasn't the one getting mingled.
I don't have any problems finding any guys. I'll just tell you that.
Do we backtrack what you just said, that you aren't performing any of those duties in your household currently?
Wait a minute. It's her household. Wait a minute. No, below the belt. So hold on a second. Now, she's already said she's got a teenage son. What she does in her home is what she does in her home. It sounds like what was expected of you in her home was somewhat counter, maybe, to what she had agreed to, at least to the extent that not everything that was agreed to was actually completed. Did you want to say something, Ms. Kosak, to make sure America knew everything that you needed them to know as they prepare to vote?
I think we covered it. I just feel like he destroyed my trust of him as my friend, and it was a waste of money. The night was ruined. I mean, I don't think I even need to say that as we get older, our friends, it's hard for us to get together, so it was tough for us to even have that night together, and it was a disaster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood. So it sounds more like your friendship was really damaged as a result of this. Yeah.
All right, don't forget, America.
Why is your
this is
with
a vote the verdict case. You will be voting that verdict. Okay, Judge Mathis, it seems like he did half a job. Not the whole break job, maybe just half of the break job.
Well, we don't really know. I'm not hearing witness statements. I'm not hearing her even refer to complaints that her friends made. She's kind of suggesting, quite frankly, that the only thing I'm hearing is that he wasn't long enough with the women. In terms of his performance,
Gotcha.
Goodness, man, he gets your head out of
that
the
was not me.
garbage.
That was, Judge.
Well, he did say, give me 1 minute to finish my job.
needed
Okay. So I think that the performance that she wanted may have been different from the performance that she got. This woman, I just believe she's disgruntled because it was her friend that was selected. There was substantial performance. There was no breach.
All right, we shall see. The results are in. Thank you for all those texts, America. You are bringing justice to the people tonight. Let's go live now to the Magnificent Mile in Chicago, where Judge Gail Byers is about to reveal how America voted.
Okay, so as I understand it, and I want you all to be reminded, this is the case that America voted on this evening. And America has been your jury, They have decided the verdict or the outcome of this case. And Isaiah, do you have the results?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. Here are the results, Your Honor.
Thank you. And so, in providing America the information that you have and your testimony, as well as the opportunity to vote in this case, America has decided in this matter by a margin of 43% to 57% in favor of the defendant. Now, that may come as a surprise to some, but this court honors the verdict of America's jurors. We've asked them to use their reason and common sense, to listen to the facts and the evidence, and to make a determination. And although there's a mechanism in the law that's called a judgment notwithstanding the verdict that would have otherwise allowed that to be set aside, I will not set aside America's verdict because they used their reason, their common sense, and all of the evidence that you gave them to make a determination this evening, and they've done it in favor of the defendant. And so that means, Ms. Kosak, you will not recover $2,586. This matter will be resolved with Mr. Michaels being successful here. But having said that, let me talk a little bit about what I think is the real underlying issue. You all started this journey as friends. And I would venture to say that over and beyond the issue of professionalism really is hurt and pain that is born out of a feeling of betrayed friendship. And I want to tell you both that there are few relationships in life that are more endearing and enduring than true friendship. And the fact that you, Mr. Michaels, have a friend who feels and clearly believes that she was not respected as a friend, I hope is something you'll take to heart.
Very much so.
I don't know what it'll take to mend this relationship, but I can tell you that there's so many folks who have closer relationships with friends than they ever will have with family. And that it's just like being able to pick up a phone in 3 days, 3 months, or 3 years and pick up where you left off. There are very few relationships that exist like that. And I want to talk to you all about what it means to throw away a good friendship. If you thought enough of Mr. Michaels to bring him all the way from Australia, to unite and reunite him with old friends, and to bring him into one of the most coveted places in your life, your home, I suspect more than anything, Ms. Kosak, what you're feeling is a deep hurt about having your home not respected or feeling like it wasn't. And I hope that you, Mr. Michaels, will take that and understand it for what it is. Whether you will like it or appreciate it or not, the fact of the matter is
The
that
votes in favor of the stripper, Judge Vonda.
I called it. There was substantial compliance. And the fact of the matter is that what was really troubling to me is that she said that she believed that she was violated, but here she is, a half-naked man in her home. I didn't understand that. You know, it's selective hurt that she feels, you know, and unfortunately, the American people saw through it.
Absolutely, Judge.
I haven't heard who was unsatisfied that evening other than her. And so that's the basis of the complaint, is that you did not perform the job that you were hired to do, hired to entertain me and my friends. She's the only person I've heard complain, or she's given a statement or even suggested complaining. And so, no, there's no case there. He performed, no one complained other than her. And the question also becomes is, who was satisfied and who wasn't?
Uh-oh, don't get into that now.
I'm just saying.
All right,
Don't get into
judges.
that.
We've got the winning litigant, the stripper defendant from Down Under. Let's take a listen.
Why do you think America sided with you?
Well, because America believes that I did my job, and unfortunately it was cut short due to the fact that someone was saddened that I ruined her party, but in reality she kind of ruined her own party when I could have easily just started back to what I was originally doing and finish it, make sure everyone's fine. So at the end of the day, It's unfortunate. I definitely don't want to lose a friendship, but that's something that obviously I'll have to talk to Carla